friend of mine and myself had been just kind of hanging out that day. We wanted to get this one tree stand trimmed in and get back in the woods that afternoon. It was the peak of the rut, and when we got there, I realized I didn't have my safety harness. I was just rushed and thought, well, what can one tree hurt? I've done this 100 times before and nothing's ever happened. So I went ahead and got up in the tree stand, and I was actually doing the trimming from up there with the pole saw. There were some vines growing up right beside the tree, and I remember taking the pole saw and actually hitting those vines, trying to cut those vines in two. Looking back, is I must have hit the strap on the tree stand and didn't even realize it, and created just a small tear in it. And when I turned around on the stand and shifted my weight, all I can figure is that's when the strap broke. And the last thing I remember is just seeing blue sky and tree limbs kind of mixed together. I was just laying there completely lifeless. And the next thing I knew, I was in the back of an ambulance. They were taking me to the hospital. Checking the wind up here at Wally World. They always have a flag, an American flag, above the store, so it gets up where the wind can hit it really good. The thing about those upper stands is that if it gets straight south, it's perfect. The southwest is, probably better, but the straight south is fine too. And even if it blew out of the west, we could get away with that. But over here, it's either south or southeast is the only thing, or something out of the east is all we can get away with. All right, let's go. Man, that moon is bright. That's as bright as it gets. I felt kind of like a hypocrite. There's one time that I thought I didn't have to wear it. Problem is, that one time is all it takes. You still remember it, but it's not as real as it was, We have to be thinking about our family at home. It's selfish not to. There's very seldom a day I don't get down on my knees and thank the Lord I'm still alive. But to be able to tell you there's not a moment I don't waste, it'd be a lie. Simple truth of the matter is just human nature. With a north wind, like it is today, all the deer that's out there, it's just natural for them to come into the wind and go back up into this holler, which puts them coming right by us. The part that never gets old about deer hunting, every hunt is different. No two hunts are going to be exactly the same. There's always something new to be learned, and when it comes down to hunting season, it always leaves you guessing a little bit. Right now, there's bugs moving in that, from a mile or two off. Our only hope is if that deer goes up, circles around, and tries to come down into this thicket. I think he ran this way. I think he was running a doe. I don't think he smelled it. Dude, I was throwing everything I could at him. I was just trying to get him to hear me, and I think he heard it. But he ain't interested, dude. We're just gonna follow up the mountain, it looks like. Why couldn't he be behind this big group of them? Dude, this is probably the best hunt I've had all season. That had to be a different part right there. Had to be. I didn't have to watch about 150 or 160 just to walk off like that. You don't know how close I came to hunting over there this morning. I've hung probably 200 or 300 tree stands in my lifetime, and there's only been one time that something went wrong, and it was the time I didn't have my harness on. And now I'm just thankful that, you know, I get to keep doing it. There, after that accident, you know, it opened my eyes and made me realize that I could have either been paralyzed or even worse, dead, and never get to do this again. I hunted deer for a couple years, had a lot of daytime pictures of him in this real thick bedding area, and I got so many pictures I started keeping a chart of the date, the time that he would come in, the moon phase of the time, which direction he would come from, and the wind direction. You know, it's just things like this that go into shooting big mature whitetails in areas where they're really hard to hunt. You need any edge you can get. And you know, this just helped me narrow down times I needed to be in the tree stand. That way I felt like my time was well spent. I wasn't wasting a lot of time. So that was me and my wife about 12 years ago, I guess. We're newlyweds. North Alabama, and these are very hard to come by in Alabama. We do have some bigger ones around, but they're very rare. This is his first deer with horns. So he shot a button buck for his first one. How old are you, son? 10? I think I was 15 when I shot my first one. 15 or 16. Don't laugh at me. Boy, don't laugh at me. It ain't funny. When something tragic happens, it makes you realize that you've got to be thinking about your family. Like, I've got 2 children and a wife at home that could have lost a husband and a father that day. And, you know, 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been like that. It's a real eye-opener to know that you were that close to death, you know, and to leaving your family, to leaving your wife and children and friends and parents and grandparents, leaving all that just because a deer was driving you to do something that was unsafe. You know, when it just would have taken a few minutes for me to run back to the house and grab a safety harness. You know, in your teen years, in your early 20s, it's really easy to just get too carried away with deer hunting and just hunting in general, or fishing or anything. It's just not that important.